MingHe decisively turned away from his former classmates and continued his flight. Dr. Zhao understood the gravity of allowing MingHe to escape once more. He contemplated the challenge of apprehending MingHe, recognizing the difficulty when MingHe resolved to flee. Despite considering it potentially futile, Dr. Zhao saw an opportunity for revenge and destruction. With a menacing grin, he agreed to MingHe's proposal. As MingHe ceased his sprint, a sigh of relief escaped him, and bone needles sprouted around his form. In a sudden transformation, Dr. Zhao mutated, aggressively assaulting the ground, which resulted in a tumultuous upheaval of dust and debris. When the chaos subsided, an enclosed space bounded by bone needles emerged. Dr. Zhao cautioned MingHe against aimless evasion, emphasizing the futility of running in circles. Establishing the area enclosed by bone needles as their battleground, Dr. Zhao threatened MingHe, stating that straying beyond the bounds would lead to the demise of one of MingHe's former classmates. Without hesitation, MingHe accepted the terms. Dr. Zhao goaded MingHe, suggesting that victory could transform him into the hero who saved the entire city of Lanyang and rescued his classmates. Snapping a crimson bone needle growing from his left arm, Dr. Zhao mocked MingHe's perceived weakness, mentioning rumors about MingHe's hospitalization resulting from a failed Superhuman Institute entrance exam and an attempted suicide. Dr. Zhao found it incredulous that he had been the one to perform surgery on MingHe. He derided MingHe as a nameless failure who couldn't even pass the superhuman exam, emphasizing that nobody had expectations for him. Dr. Zhao scornfully remarked that MingHe's classmates had viewed him with pity and spent more time ridiculing his perceived stupidity. The only fleeting attention he received was when their teacher compelled them to offer flowers, after which MingHe was largely neglected for an entire year. Dr. Zhao's assault on MingHe wasn't merely physical, but also a calculated mental attack. Despite MingHe's silence and evasive maneuvers, Dr. Zhao relentlessly disparaged him for leading a desolate and insignificant existence, now attempting a sudden display of heroism. While MingHe struggled to evade Dr. Zhao's attacks, Lin Yuyu pleaded for him to flee. Sensing an opportunity, Dr. Zhao's hand transformed into a sickle, slashing at MingHe. Though MingHe attempted to retreat, he found his chest bleeding. Lin Yuyu tearfully implored MingHe to escape, but he remained resolute in silence, slowly rising despite his injury. Dr. Zhao questioned MingHe's determination, taunting him about waking up from a year-old surgery without the ability to change a thing. MingHe contemplated leaving the arena, but recalled Dr. Zhao's threat against his former classmates. With Dr. Zhao closing in, he belittled MingHe as an insignificant entity. Seizing the moment, Dr. Zhao lunged to finish him off, but MingHe, flicking blood into Dr. Zhao's eyes, swiftly moved behind him. MingHe's hands emanated a crimson glow as he directed a powerful punch toward Dr. Zhao's head, expressing his disdain for the doctor and condemning his own bleak and desolate existence. Dr. Zhao lay motionless on the ground, overpowered by the force of the blow. It became apparent that one of the most potent mediums for MingHe's mystic punch was his own blood, a technique he dubbed Blood Fiend Fist. From the drop tower, MingHe's former classmates rallied behind him, urging him to eliminate Dr. Zhao. Amidst the chaos, Xuezheng tearfully implored MingHe to prioritize their salvation, fearing his own demise due to blood loss. Wang Xiaodun, noting MingHe's severe bleeding, disparagingly referred to Xuezheng and Lu Xinghong as weaklings. Meanwhile, Lin Yuyu wept, begging MingHe to address his wounds. MingHe, however, was losing blood rapidly. Abruptly, a bone needle was hurled to the ground, silencing the clamor. Dr. Zhao chastised MingHe and his classmates for their noise, issuing threats of dire consequences once he dealt with them. Removing the bone needles from his own body, Dr. Zhao regained his composure and noticed MingHe's power resided in his fists. Although MingHe's arms ceased their crimson glow, seizing the moment before Dr. Zhao could extract the last bone needle, MingHe landed a devastating punch on the doctor's face, causing it to swivel. Dr. Zhao, while admiring MingHe's prowess, deemed it futile against him. Recollecting MingHe's previous feat of defeating a mutated giant demon rat, MingHe's arms once again illuminated red, unleashing a barrage of punches upon Dr. Zhao. Defenseless against MingHe's relentless assault, Dr. Zhao succumbed to the overwhelming barrage, which culminated in a forceful left punch. Dr. Zhao staggered backward, but managed to maintain his stance. Speaking again, he observed MingHe's ability to absorb various mediums, harnessing their effects through his punches. While finding MingHe's powers intriguing, Dr. Zhao remained steadfast in his belief that such abilities wouldn't suffice to overpower someone of his immense strength. In that moment, Lu Xinghong recalled MingHe's superpower, a white dust rank categorized as an inconspicuous type, associated with luck, yet unsuitable for combat. Wang Xiaodan, too, found herself perplexed, realizing only one truth amidst the confusion. MingHe surpassed them in strength. With conviction, she cheered MingHe on, urging him to vanquish Dr. Zhao. Meanwhile, Dr. Zhao's movement fractured the ground as he drew near to MingHe, boasting about his lord-ranked strength and disdaining MingHe's past victories over lesser opponents. He belittled MingHe's abilities, taunting that his blue spirit's superpower wouldn't prevail, even if MingHe relentlessly attacked until his fists were battered. Sarcastically, Dr. Zhao ridiculed MingHe, insinuating control over him and asserting dominance. He mocked the idea that the weak could become strong, maintaining that MingHe could never match his perfect physical form. With a sneer, he declared himself not the only one skilled in combat. As Dr. Zhao prepared to strike, MingHe swiftly reacted, countering the incoming blow, but was nonetheless pushed back. Frustratingly, MingHe found his attacks futile against Dr. Zhao's rapid regeneration ability. Dr. Zhao pursued relentlessly, launching a barrage of punches. MingHe could only evade and block, unable to mount a counterattack. Worse, he realized Dr. Zhao's increased speed following the formation of his clenched fist. Capitalizing on an opening, Dr. Zhao landed a swift punch directly into MingHe's stomach. MingHe found himself unable to evade or block Dr. Zhao's attack, resulting in being forcefully propelled away by the force of the punch. Simultaneously, bone needles sprouted from Dr. Zhao's body as he aimed them towards MingHe, who remained airborne. With no alternative, MingHe resorted to using his arms to shield himself from the onslaught. Strangely, not a single needle struck him, puzzling both MingHe and Dr. Zhao upon his safe landing. Suddenly, Dr. Zhao realized the nature of MingHe's inconspicuous superpower, luck. He acknowledged MingHe's extraordinary fortune, realizing that had even one needle connected, MingHe might have suffered severe injury or worse. Marveling at MingHe's luck, Dr. Zhao recognized its incredible utility. Seizing a massive bone needle, akin to a spear, Dr. Zhao took aim at the drop tower, cautioning MingHe about the misfortune awaiting his former classmates. MingHe, bewildered, reminded Dr. Zhao of their agreement, yet Dr. Zhao chuckled, asserting he hadn't broken any promise, and directed MingHe's attention to his current position. To MingHe's horror, he discovered he had been pushed beyond the boundary. Dr. Zhao declared that due to MingHe's incompetence, one of his former classmates would meet their demise. In desperation, Xuezheng, Lu Xinghong, and Wang Xiaodan pleaded for mercy. Lin Yuyu, catching sight of the bone spear, met a tragic fate as the weapon pierced her chest, her life ending in an instant. MingHe's gaze fixated on Lin Yuyu, his eyes widened with shock, disbelief, and a profound sense of sorrow etched on his face. He clenched his jaw, the emotion giving way to a rising tide of fury. Dr. Zhao, in his typical tone, advised MingHe against being overly tense, explaining from his medical perspective that as long as Lin Yuyu refrained from removing the bone spear, she wouldn't face immediate death. However, the situation would become dire if she didn't receive treatment within the next 5 minutes. Driven by a surge of anger, MingHe approached the encircling bone needles deliberately and pierced his own hands upon them. With determination, he closed his fists, causing the tips of the bone needles to shatter, freeing his hands from their confines. In that moment, his fists ignited once more with a crimson glow. Filled with resolve, he declared to Dr. Zhao that before the 5 minutes elapsed, the tables would turn, and it would be Dr. Zhao who would face his demise. Both sprinted towards each other. MingHe's arms, once glowing, had dimmed. His punch aimed at Dr. Zhao's chest seemed ineffective, having no visible impact. In retaliation, Dr. Zhao struck back, landing a forceful blow to MingHe's face, taunting him about his supposed blue spirit rank superpower, indicating it was limited. Dr. Zhao asserted his confidence, claiming MingHe's imminent demise due to blood loss, even if MingHe used up all his remaining blood. Continuing his verbal assault, Dr. Zhao effortlessly blocked MingHe's attempts and launched his own attacks. He sought to completely degrade MingHe, asserting that MingHe's pitiful state mirrored his condition when he was initially hospitalized after the suicide attempt. Dr. Zhao's disdain for those who survive suicide attempts was evident, asserting that if MingHe couldn't even succeed in taking his own life, then he didn't deserve to live. He derided MingHe's existence, emphasizing his weakness and failure even in attempting suicide, accusing him of burdening doctors and wasting their time and efforts. With relentless mental attacks, Dr. Zhao even brought up the consequences of MingHe's actions on his family, highlighting the shame and hardship they endured due to his unresolved medical expenses. His sister knelt, imploring him not to discharge MingHe from the hospital. They both hailed from the underbelly of the city, toiling for those with wealth and influence. Dr. Zhao challenged MingHe's self-image, questioning his attempts to portray himself as someone grand. As the question concluded, Dr. Zhao delivered a forceful punch, thrusting MingHe away. Squatting down, Dr. Zhao leaped into the air. In mid-flight, he offered MingHe an end to his wretched existence to spare others from bearing his burdens. Converging his hands, bone spikes extended from his palms. Peering down at MingHe's diminutive form, Dr. Zhao belittled him, shouting that he was inconsequential. As he descended, Dr. Zhao prepared to strike MingHe with an attack termed Colossus's Hammer Smash. Upon landing, an enveloping cloud of dust obscured the scene. When the haze dissipated, Dr. Zhao rose, visibly surprised. He lauded MingHe for evading his colossal attack, but noted his position beyond the boundary lines once more. Huge bone spikes materialized around Dr. Zhao, confirming MingHe's out-of-bounds status. Had he not left the arena, those colossal spikes would have undoubtedly impaled MingHe. Dr. Zhao grimly declared that someone else would pay the price for MingHe's evasion. Seizing one of the colossal bone spikes, MingHe finally spoke up, denying Dr. Zhao's accusation, affirming that he never attempted suicide and values his life immensely. Dismissing MingHe's words, Dr. Zhao emphasized the consequence of MingHe's actions, claiming responsibility for the death of another former classmate. In a resolute reply, MingHe refuted Dr. Zhao's claims of insignificance, recounting his sister's plea and sacrifice for him, the only family she had left. Memories flooded MingHe's mind of his sister's unwavering dedication during his hospitalization. MingHe highlighted Nurse Song's loyalty, recalling her steadfast support during the chaos of the animal mutations when everyone fled for their lives. Despite his year-long coma, Nurse Song remained by his side, refusing to abandon him. Determined, MingHe vowed never to forsake his former classmates. He credited Lin Yuyu for her leadership, rallying their class to gather donations for his cause, a gesture that left an indelible mark on his resolve to stand by them in their time of need. At that moment, Lin Yuyu stood tearful, her eyes shut, absorbing MingHe's words. Dr. Zhao countered, dismissing MingHe's speech as hollow, citing the imminent demise of the girl who had organized the donations. Despite a bleeding left eye, MingHe remained resolute, his demeanor unwaveringly serious. With sudden intensity, MingHe's fists ignited in a crimson glow. He disclosed that he had landed a total of 49 punches on Dr. Zhao. Sensing impending danger, Dr. Zhao reacted with alarm, feeling the weight of the situation. MingHe's posture shifted, blue colossal fists materializing above him, poised for an imminent strike. He lunged toward Dr. Zhao, unleashing his ultimate move. "Star-marked galactic fists," MingHe bellowed with all his might. Dr. Zhao, taken aback by this revelation of MingHe's ultimate move, a violet soul rank superpower, struggled to comprehend his imminent defeat at the hands of someone who couldn't secure a place at the Superhuman Institute. The colossal fists reflected in Dr. Zhao's eyes just before they descended like an unstoppable avalanche. MingHe's former classmates, witnessing the spectacle, were left in awe and shock. A cavity formed where Dr. Zhao stood, leaving him sprawled at the pit's center, the impact of MingHe's attack undeniable. Meanwhile, MingHe rose from his kneeling position near the pit. As he stood tall, he confronted Dr. Zhao, asserting that while his present strength might seem insignificant, it still surpasses the despicable nature of an evil bastard like Dr. Zhao by 1,000-fold. He swiftly made his way to the control room of the drop tower, manipulating the mechanisms to initiate the descent for his former classmates. Rushing toward the drop tower, he confirmed the gradual descent of his former classmates. Except for Lin Yuyu, who was incapacitated, the rest were engaged in an animated discussion about MingHe's possession of a violet soul rank. Their astonishment was palpable, realizing MingHe's incredible strength, especially the capability to wield an ultimate move. Amidst lingering tears, Wang Xiaodan expressed gratitude to MingHe, acknowledging his immense strength and deeming the Superhuman Institute remiss for not recognizing his abilities. Lu Xinghong and Wang Xiaodan critiqued the Institute's testing system, pondering potential flaws that led to MingHe's rejection, even speculating about the examiner's negligence. Their conversation halted when Lu Xinghong noticed MingHe supporting Lin Yuyu, who inquired about her fate. MingHe reassured her, affirming that help from the authorities was on its way. Wang Xiaodan, appearing startled, seemed to witness something unexpected. Lin Yuyu, expressing surprise at MingHe's true strength, drew a nervous laugh from Xuezheng. Soon, Lu Xinghong and Wang Xiaodan spotted the approaching officials, eagerly attracting their attention by waving and shouting. Simultaneously, the officials spotted MingHe and his former classmates amidst the commotion. Led by Commander Luo Lin, whose distinctive cat ears set her apart, the group swiftly took charge. She ordered her team to neutralize any potential threats while assigning herself the task of tending to the injured. Observing MingHe's group, the medical personnel realized they were students. In response, Commander Luo Lin directed Lu Xinghong to step aside, allowing the medical team to intervene. One of the medical staff assessed Lin Yuyu's condition, noting that her situation might not be critical if they initiated the necessary procedures promptly, considering the spear remained lodged. Meanwhile, Commander Luo Lin, noticing MingHe's several wounds, swiftly instructed the medical team to prioritize his treatment. Beside Lin Yuyu, emergency responders readied for a blood transfusion and commenced immediate care. Commander Luo Lin turned to MingHe, informing him that en route they detected a mutant organism of Lord rank. She considered MingHe and his classmates fortunate to have survived the encounter, inquiring about the whereabouts of the mutant organism. Lin Qingyu, a Sunblaze rank member directed by Commander Luo Lin to assess the threat, approached them. He reported the resolution of the threat, yet Commander Luo Lin cautioned against complacency. She remained wary, believing the Lord rank mutant organism might still linger nearby, searching for an opportunity to strike. Lin Qingyu disclosed that the Lord rank mutant organism lay deceased in a pit nearby. He recounted encountering a human mutant who likely harnessed the pollution source to induce alterations in its body. Commander Luo Lin, astonished by the news of the creature's demise, urgently inquired about the entity responsible. In unison, all eyes turned towards MingHe. Commander Luo Lin sought confirmation, asking if he indeed had slain the Lord rank mutant organism. While being attended to by medical personnel, MingHe affirmed, also reminding her that he was the one who reported the incident initially. Seizing the moment, he introduced himself, although the medical personnel attending to him urged him to stay still, which he disregarded. Despite the medical staff's frustration, MingHe retrieved a blood vial, presenting it to Commander Luo Lin. He disclosed that it was the stolen source of pollution that he had taken from Dr. Zhao, elaborating that Dr. Zhao intended to release the blood into the water pipes. Accepting the blood, Commander Luo Lin examined it closely. Suddenly she exclaimed, asking MingHe how he accomplished it. Misinterpreting her question, MingHe explained that he seized the blood while Dr. Zhao was distracted. Clarifying her inquiry, Commander Luo Lin sought to understand how MingHe had managed to defeat a Lord rank mutant. MingHe revealed that he had used his fists to eliminate Dr. Zhao. Despite the medical personnel's irritation with MingHe's continued movement, he persisted in explaining. Disregarding the medical personnel's advice, MingHe elucidated to Commander Luo Lin about the essence of his superpower, emphasizing it lay within his fists. Inquiring further, she sought to ascertain MingHe's rank and affiliation. MingHe disclosed that he held the rank of an apprentice starlight. Commander Luo Lin found it incredulous that an apprentice starlight rank, someone who, according to Wang Xiaodan, had recently become a superhuman and hadn't gained entry into the Superhuman Institute, had managed to defeat 2 Moonglow rank superhumans. Wang Xiaodan respectfully intervened, confirming that MingHe had only recently acquired his superhuman abilities and hadn't been admitted to the Institute. With his emergency treatment completed, MingHe expressed gratitude to the medical team. At that moment, a recollection seemed to strike Commander Luo Lin. She recognized MingHe as the assertive and disobedient individual from a recent interaction over the walkie-talkie. A medical staff member also recollected MingHe's heroism when he had saved a bus full of people at Nanjiao Hospital, noting that it had been hard to recognize him earlier due to the blood on his face. Lin Qingyu placed a hand on MingHe's shoulder, acknowledging him as a hero who safeguarded the entire city of Lanyang, likening the high-ranking superhumans to mere statues in comparison. MingHe modestly replied that he had simply given his all to protect his former classmates and buy them time. Commander Luo Lin then extended an offer, asking MingHe if he would consider joining the official superhuman organization. She highlighted the attractive perks, well-paid positions, and the allure of having equally impressive colleagues.